Who needs to eat? I'm trying to lose weight anyway.
Who cares that I don't have food? I can just eat the couch cushions.
Who needs toilet paper? It wipes itself on the way out.
I'm glad my kids are growing up homeless and hungry. I mean, it'll build their character, right?
This message was brought to you by People for the American Way. Support the $12.50 minimum wage.
Good morning, boys, state of Kansas, from MB Studio 5. I'm Brock Jameson.
And I'm Mason Stahl.
And we welcome you to Kansas Boys State News.
Today we lead off with a press conference with our state officials about the progress of the government.
So what does it mean to you guys to be a Federalist?
To be a Federalist, I think it means to value Kansans. And for us, we're looking for a smaller government and a more powerful county government. And so it's important to us to go talk to the counties and see what issues that they have.
And also I think it's putting our trust in the people that they can make decisions for themselves. We don't need to be controlling them on a daily basis, telling them what they can and can't do. So it's just allowing them greater freedoms.
And we're here to help them and aid them in their decision-making process, but we're not here to tell them this is what you have to do.
So what challenges have you had to deal with?
Honestly, I'm actually very proud of how we've been working with the legislature, even though it's a mainly nationalist legislature. Working on the budget together was a very easy experience because we were able to just sit down and talk to them. But challenge-wise, just the volume of bills that are being put into the Senate is astounding, and just making sure that the right bills get through has been a challenge, as well as making sure that all the counties are getting the attention that they need, because some are feeling less looked upon than others. So, yeah, I think that's a good challenge.
And also for this very kind of huge marijuana bill that's going through, they've been adjusting the percentage of the tax, and so the guys in the Congress, some of them have just been texting me different figures saying, hey, if we change the tax to this, how much money is it going to generate? So I've just had to do a bunch of calculations for them, trying to figure out what percent is going to get us the best return.
All right, so going off of the fact that you mentioned Senate is mostly nationalist, what have you had to compromise with nationalists thus far?
So they brought up the minimum wage bill, which is something that we talked about. We wanted to keep the minimum wage the same, but their bill, they talked to us and they said, okay, we know we're not going to get $12.50, but what about bringing it up to $8 or $8.25? And I said, perfect, I would love to do that. Other things are programs that help out people. Currently we're working on a big think tank thing that would benefit all the counties, which I think is a great idea for education. And then also with the budget that we passed, just making sure that all of the departments that they want funded get funded. So that was a big deal. They did, however, agree with us on our tax, and we made a progressive tax system like they wanted. However, we cut the taxes lower than they were before.
And once again, going off of your answer, how do you feel about that budget? Like, are you very confident?
I feel that so when you're creating a budget, you really don't know exactly how that's going to affect all of Kansas, and you can't make everyone happy. So I think that we did our job in lowering the deficit and lowering taxes. So we created a bill that could get passed by the legislature. I think that's all you can really ask of us at this point. I am very confident that's going to help Kansans. At the very least, it lowers their taxes while not cutting substantial departments that they want and need.
Okay. And one final question for Mr. Nickel. How do you feel Governor Bryce has represented the Federalist Party so far?
Oh, he's done a great job. He's been, while here at the state office, we've been pushing out bills of our own. He's been over in legislature talking with each individual senator or representative. He's been motivating them to get through this budget because it is just a huge document to work through. And so they passed it early even. They didn't wait till the deadline to get it done. And so he's just made that process a whole lot more efficient and effective.
Well, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, boys, for your time.
Now for a question. What is the Freedom of Information Act? Well, we have right here a Merriam-Webster's definition. Freedom of Information Act. Noun. A law that gives you the right to access information from the federal government. It's often described as the law that keeps citizens in the know about their government. So basically, it allows people to keep in touch with the government and keep check on its authority.
Hey, I'm Jarius Jones, and I'm here with Todd, and I want to ask him a couple questions on the Freedom of Information Act. So, Todd, what is your kind of definition of the Freedom of Information Act?
The Freedom of Information Act is an act that allows citizens of the United States to be able to access information from their government, whether that be budgets or payrolls or any government employee, what they're involved in. The citizens have a right to know that information. And that's important to have an informed and involved electorate that can actually fulfill the duties of a democracy.
Okay, so besides what you just said, how would you say it fits into a stater's everyday life?
Like if you get involved on the local level and you want to know how the government's spending your tax dollars, that's the kind of stuff you can access through the Freedom of Information Act. You can go find out where this money's going and to help hold your elected officials accountable for what they're doing with your tax dollars.
All right. Thank you for your time. All right, I'm here with Raymond, and I'm going to ask him a few questions on the Freedom of Information Act. So Raymond, what's your definition of the Freedom of Information Act?
Well, the Freedom of Information Act is one of the most critical ideals that we hold in our country. It goes right along with the First Amendment, with the ability of freedom of the press, freedom of speech. But more than that, the Freedom of Information Act allows us the freedom to know things about our government, the freedom to know what they're doing, the freedom to know what they're doing with our money. It allows us to see financial data. It allows us to see the decisions that they've made with the budget, stuff like that. It's intensely important.
So would you say the Freedom of Information Act has had the same kind of role here at Boise State?
To a certain degree, yeah. It's of course, any large government act like that is more difficult to apply to a simulation that's smaller like this. But I think it has a very, very important role here at Boise State with transparency between the state officials, the state government, and even on a county level, letting us know how they spent their money and letting us know more than how they say they represent, but their actual actions and how they have represented the other staters here. I think it's super important.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Yep.
We went around and asked college representatives at the college fair on what they did to help students join their college.
Okay, well, my name is Jamie Carlson, and I'm an admissions counselor at Fort Hays State University. I recruit for the Central Kansas area. This is my 3rd year, so I just go through and I recruit incoming freshmen.
All right, and then what do you do to pull people in to want to go to Fort Hays?
Well, I am originally from Central Kansas myself, so I kind of have that connection with my students, but I just try and figure out what it is that they find interesting within an institution. So whether it's scholarships, size, if it's their academic program, whatever's important with them, then I really hit on those key points, and then I just connect with them on that basis, and I kind of tell them some more of the fun points about Fort Hays State University and just try and give them the best that they could be.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I'm an admissions representative from the University of Kansas. That means that I have a territory that I have the opportunity of working with students coming from the Blue Valley District and also some out-of-state territories. So we're out here today just talking with students who were selected to come to Boise State because it's a really prestigious thing. So my main primary goal is to go out and represent the university for students who are looking to come to KU.
And what are you doing and telling students to pull them in to want to go to KU?
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri originally, and I'm a Jayhawk double graduate. I have an undergraduate degree and a master's. And before I came back to this job, I was actually out working in the real world, and it was Jayhawk alumni who got me my first job at another major institution. And so I talk about the network a lot. Being a Jayhawk, there's only one place you can be a Jayhawk, right? You can be a Liner, Tiger, Bear, a lot of places, but there's only one place to be a Jayhawk, and we're really proud of that. So that's kind of one of the ways that we help draw students in. But what's cool about this too is representing the state of Kansas, and that's where all the students are from. So they're great in-state students, and we'd love to see them come to stay at an in-state university.
All right, thank you.
Okay. My name is Jason Bilberry, and I am an admission counselor for Pittsburgh State University. I primarily work with schools in central and western Kansas, primarily based out of the Wichita area, up to I-70 and on over towards Colorado. I speak to high school students, freshmen through seniors, regarding Pitt State, what it takes to become a student at our university, and what we have to offer to students that are potentially going to come to us.
All right, and then how are you pulling people in to want to go to Pitt State?
Well, you gotta find out what they need. As a prospective student, you gotta find out what they want out of a college, and then tailor the conversation to them. For me, I'm originally from Western Kansas, so when I go out there, I can relate to them leaving home for the first time. You base a conversation off of that. Then you find out, what their interests are, if it's technology or if it's pre-med or whatever, and then you offer insight into what you offer in terms of majors, and then you talk about all of the extra amenities that go with the college. So,
thank you.
You're welcome.
As you can tell, the college fair definitely excited our staters about their future education. And now it's time for our fun fact of the day. Did you know that slugs have 4 noses? Today for our Veteran Spotlight, we interviewed Army veteran Don Whitten about his experience in the Korean War.
Hello, I'm Jarius Jones, and I'm here with the Veteran Spotlight for today. I'm here with Don Whitten. And I'm gonna ask him a couple questions.
Now, I'm Don Whitten, and I joined the service in 1950, went to Camp Atterbury, Indiana, and my military career lasted for just a little bit over 20 years. I retired in 1971, and I moved to Kansas, a little place called Waubonsee, Kansas, and it's probably you people don't even know where it's at, but it's on the map. And I got there, and the first morning we got up, we had temperatures that we never heard of in El Paso, and we had snow about 50 feet deep. What a welcome to Kansas. But I guess I must have liked it because I'm still here.
So, being former military, what would you say to young men aspiring to join the military or join the service in the future?
First off, the service is not for every young man. However, if the young man has an outlook that he wants to progress and have a good future and has an honor to honor our country and serve our country and our nation, it is for that individual. There's enlisted, you can go up to E8 and E9 as a good career. Officers is a fine career. Warrant officers, they all have their place within the service. And any of those careers is a nice career and makes a nice living for you and a family. However, when you do consider the Army or any of the services for a career, you must think also of your family. You may not have a family as a young man and joining, but eventually you will have a family. So you must consider their welfare as well as the career itself. But they do fit together, and they do fit together real good.
So, after your collective years of service, do you still even today keep in touch with the families of your friends in the war?
Yes, we do. With the exception, it's like this. All the friends that was in the service with me to keep in touch with have passed. However, we do keep in touch with a couple of the daughters of those people. And one of them lives in Ohio, and the other daughter lives in Saskatchewan, Canada. Yes, and we keep in touch with them quite regularly.
And in terms of the Boys State program, what would you say your favorite thing is about Kansas Boys State?
Looking at you people, looking at you young men now, next year, some of you will be coming back here and looking at how you have progressed. I believe that every one of you people coming through here has a much better future than those that have not.
Those are some great words. Thank you, Don, for your time.
I thank you, and you have a good day.
You too.
You don't hear much about the Korean War, but what you hear is definitely interesting.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
I'm Brock Jameson.
And I'm Mason Stahl.
And this is Kansas Boys State News, officially signing off.
Okay. No use